Hey guys, how's it going? What's up? My name is Brett. This is Mental Map Part 4. I'm calling these scales that I'm going to be showing you the Magnificent Seven. I don't know anything about the movie The Magnificent Seven, and this really has nothing to do with that. So without further ado, here we are in the key of E minor, which we said last time is also known as G major. For reasons I explained very briefly before, and we'll go into a little more in the future. But again, this is about tactics. This isn't about theory or anything like that. So we're going to start here on the G note with a scale we're going to call G Ionian, which also is the same as G major. Don't get too caught up in these modal names. They don't really mean a whole lot to us right now. And they really don't mean a whole lot if there's no chord underneath it either to your ear. So I'm going to try to play the chords and just to kind of get it in your head what those two things, the scale and the chords, sound like together. So G major, G Ionian. All right, we're going to have two occurrences of 3, 5, 7. And I play these with the first, second, and fourth fingers. You can play them with the first, third, and fourth fingers if you're some kind of weirdo, but I would advise you not to. It's more comfortable this way. All right? And then we're going to have two occurrences of 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. And then two occurrences of 5, 7, 8. So all together. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yeah, this is the major scale we're all used to hearing. All right, so the second shape, we'll say is A Dorian, and we're going to have 5, 7, 8, and then three occurrences of 5, 7, 9. And then we're going to have two occurrences of 7, 8, 10. So again, A Dorian. All right, next we have B Phrygian. And that's going to be one occurrence of 7, 8, 10, and then two occurrences of 7, 9, 10, and then a 7, 9, 11, and then two occurrences of 8, 10, 12. All right, next we're going to have C Lydian, which kind of has this vibe. All right, we're going to have this is 8, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 11, 12, and then we have 10, 12, 13, and then 10, 12, 14. So again, C Lydian. All right, next, the fifth shape is D Mixolydian, and this is the shape we learned last week in part 3. So you should not even have to follow along with me. You should say, hey, you know what? I saw this was part 4, so I went back and watched the first 3 parts before this. Or I've been following this bastard in the Tube Screamer shirt for 3 weeks, and I know it already. So here we go. 3 occurrences of 10, 12, 14. All right, and then we're going to come up and do 11, 12, 14. And then 12, 13, 15. And then 12, 14, 15. D Mixolydian. All right, next we have E Ionian. Excuse me, E Aeolian. This is another name for minor, just natural minor, nothing weird here, all right? So we're going to have two occurrences of 12, 14, 15. All right, we're going to have two occurrences of 12, 14, 16. And then a 13, 15, 17. And then a 14, 15, 17. And hopefully you've seen that these 6 notes we had in the Mixolydian shape, right, these guys here, are also in the next shape. And I wouldn't even say these fit together like puzzle pieces. What they really do is overlap one another. Let me give you the last one, then I'll go back into this. So the next one is F sharp Locrian. And we're going to have two occurrences of 14, 15, 17. And then two occurrences of 14, 16, 17. And then two occurrences of 15, 17, 19. F sharp Locrian. And then, to go full circle, because these are cyclical cycles, so we started on G Ionian, and we are back again to G Ionian, here at the 15th fret. So it's the same shape we played down here at the 3rd fret, just 1 octave higher. We were at the first dot down here. We're at the first dot after the 12th fret, or double dot up here. Okay, so I alluded to the fact that, let's say we go back to the 5th one. That D Mixolydian shape. And I'm just focusing on the 1st and 2nd strings to illustrate this point, but the same goes for all 6 strings. Okay, so we had 12, 13, 15, and 12, 14, 15. So the 13 and 15 and the 14 and 15 are, instead of being the higher 2 out of 3 notes of D Mixolydian, they are the lower 2 out of 3 notes in E Aeolian. So you see how those 4 notes are in one shape, and they're also in the next shape. Now going back the other way. The lower 2 notes on each string are also in that C Lydian shape that we went over. If you go and go check the description and follow the link there, and go look at the notes for this episode, this part. I've kind of drawn out each of these 7 shapes on a neck diagram. And you can kind of see, if you sort of squint your eyes right, that these shapes all overlap. And if you know one, you know 2/3 of the one above it and below it. So I would suggest finding 1 or 2 of these that make sense to you, that you like, that feel right, that sound cool. Maybe like that C Lydian, which Lydian was the one I started with. And then maybe expand up and down as you kind of get comfortable with that one. I read in a magazine when I was a kid that Steve Vai really liked A Lydian. So, you know, being a huge Steve Vai head, I was like, oh my God, I got to go figure out what the hell A Lydian means. So I was like, I know what A is, and it's a note. And I found in a column by a guy named John Finn, who used to write for Guitar Magazine. And I hope John is out there, and I hope John is doing ridiculously well, because I learned a lot from John Finn in reading his columns in Guitar Magazine when I was a kid. And I learned this. That was it. That was all I found for A Lydian. So I played it up and down over and over and over again, and I kind of got sick of doing that. Because I was so limited. There's this giant guitar neck here. What am I doing just playing in this one little spot? Well, I thought I got 3 notes on this string. I've got 3 notes on this string. And I've just got 2 notes on this string. And it's cool because I'm ending up where I started. Gone from A to shining A. But what's the next one? Maybe I can have 3 notes on this string. Well, I know how to play octaves because... What was it? Third Stone from the Sun by Jimi Hendrix. I think that was my first exposure to octaves. Of course, I couldn't play it now if you paid me. But so I knew that shape. So I knew this 9th fret 4th string note was part of the scale. And then from there, I thought, well, how can I figure out what's on the next string? Well, I mean, I know I've got this other octave shape here, so maybe I can play this note too. So anyway, I kept going like that over the course of a long time. I mean, this whole process, it took me years to do. And I was a kid. I was 14, 15 years old. And I was doing homework, and I was not doing homework, and I was working jobs and going to school and whatever. But I always wanted to play guitar. It was what I always wanted to be doing, regardless of whatever else I was doing at the time. So I eventually cruised through all 6 strings in A Lydian. And it kind of sounds incomplete there. And I really thought I was like hot shit, you know, because I had discovered this new monumental way of doing this. Of course, I'm a day late and $1 short, and this has been done lots of times by lots of people. But going through that process, I'm not saying you need to spend years and years and years doing this, but I was able to organically build a feel for that scale, and I knew it top to bottom, and I knew it had this those 4 notes right off the bat that are they're all whole steps apart. And I don't know. I could play it and sing it at the same time, and I really just owned that scale. And then I started kind of marching down and marching up the neck, in the same way I'm showing you guys how to do right now, where you go from the 4th one to the 5th one to the 6th one, and then the 4th one, the 3rd one, the 2nd one, and then the 1st one, and then you know, things kind of clicked where I looked at the 5th one. And I saw that minor pentatonic scale that I had been playing the whole time too, because you know I also used to try to cop Hendrix licks pretty religiously too. And you know, that's one thing I'm trying to impress on you guys too, is that you know that stuff is all in there. This all ties together, all works together. I've encountered on the internet, mind you, certainly not face to face, a lot of players who are like, you know, these shred guys, you know, they only know this one way of doing things, and that is totally not the case. You know, we shred guys, we spend a lot of time learning different types of music, learning different ways to do things, learning different ways to think of things. And I want to try to fast track you guys through what I spent decades doing. I think you can do it in a much, much, much shorter time. So anyway, let's go back through. I'm going to play all these for you again. We're going to start G Ionian. A Dorian. B Phrygian. C Lydian. D Mixolydian. E Aeolian. F sharp Locrian. And then last but not least again, G Ionian. And another thing I want to point out is that there are only 3 different configurations of notes on any one given string that take place in these shapes. All right, we're going to say shape 1. Let's say I'm at the 5th fret. And shape 1 is like 5, 7, 9. We have 3 notes that are each a whole step apart, each 2 frets apart. Oddly enough, if you just play everything like this, you get this cool kind of Simpsons theme song sounding scale called whole tone. Whoop. I don't spend a whole time playing that because it kind of sounds silly. So we have shape 1, 5, 7, 9. We have shape 2, which is like 5, 6, 8, where we're using the second finger. And then shape 3 is like 5, 7, 8, where we're using the third. Again, shape 1, shape 2, shape 3. And you can think of these all in terms of shape 1, shape 2, and shape 3. So like G Ionian, we have 2 shape 1s, 2 shape 2s, 2 shape 3s. Dorian is like 1 shape 3, and then 3 shape 1s, and then 2 shape 2s. And thinking of it this way, there are 3 rules that, I wouldn't really call them rules, but these are just sort of 3 defining characteristics of looking at it this way. So if we looked at the guitar neck as having like, you know, being like one of these diving board Ibanez 90 strings, we would see repeating patterns. 3 shape 1s, 2 shape 2s, 2 shape 3s. 3 shape 1s, 2 shape 2s, 2 shape 3s. Da, 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 marching in an ascending pitch-wise manner. So, like we have the D Mixolydian, 3 shape 1s, 2 shape 2s, and we would have another shape 3 there. Of course, we had a tiny little skinny 7th string there, and then the pattern would continue all the way down to the other side of the planet. What else? All right, so when we're going from shape 1 to shape 2, we need to move up a fret. Here we go from the 3rd position to the 4th position. And when going from the 3rd to the 2nd string, we need to move up a fret. The same reason when you're tuning, you have to back up a fret between the 3rd and 2nd strings. The 1st and 2nd strings are tuned a half step flat in relation to everything else, so we can have all these nice chord shapes and voicings and whatnot. Again, it's part of this Spanish tuning or standard tuning. And one thing to note is with the Dorian shape, we move up 2 frets between the 3rd and 2nd string. Before I tell you, can you figure out why? Well, yeah, you're right. Because the 2nd and 3rd rules, when moving from shape 1 to shape 2, and from going between the 3rd and 2nd strings, we move up a fret. And these rules are considering that we're learning these ascendingly. Learn them ascendingly, going from low to high, and then get used to playing them up and down, and really get used to actually making music with them and playing licks and stuff, and not just running scales up and down, because that's kind of, I don't know, it's boring, it sucks, and nobody wants to hear you just play scales up and down all the time. The goal here is to make music. What else do I need to say about the Magnificent Seven? Players that use these: Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, just any number of people. Michelangelo Badio, Rusty Cooley. I'm naming all shredders because I like listening to shredders. But Andy Timmons, just all kinds of players use these patterns from time to time. It's not the only way to look at notes on the guitar, but in my opinion, it's a good, solid foundation. And combining these things with other things like pentatonics, it really helps kind of tie the whole guitar together and different licks you might play. I think that about wraps it up. If you guys have any questions, comments, this sucks, this rocks, I didn't understand what you meant when you said this, whatever, please let me know in the comments below. Video is a new medium for me. I've been playing guitar for about 22 years, and I taught professionally for about 10 or 11 of that. And this is something I would like to spend some more time on and spread some of my knowledge to you guys, because I had great mentors coming up, whether or not they knew it. My first was my dad. My brother also played, my uncle on my mom's side. And music teachers in high school. I took a few lessons when I was a kid from a guy named Jim Graves, who also taught Derek Trucks, which is kind of a cool thing. Derek obviously is an amazing player. But lots of unwitting mentors, all my favorite players and whatnot. So I'm trying to sort of give some of that back to the rest of the guitar community. So anyway, again, if you have any comments, questions, whatever, please drop me a line in the comments. Like, favorite, subscribe, do all that crap. I'm going to try to build this channel up to be something pretty cool. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.